Hello and welcome to another Quiet Paper ASMR video. Today I wanted to make a video that would be a bit different from what I have been uploading to my channel. I recently found in my home my collection of different banknotes and currency in general from around the world. So I thought that it would be interesting to show you some of them, talk a bit about some interesting facts, and to show you the security features that they include. I will be starting with this Euro banknote, 20 euros banknote, and I will be putting up here the currency symbol, flag of the country or region where it is used, and its current exchange rate to euros. So I will be starting, as I tell you, with this 20 euros banknote. I am from Spain, so my day-to-day currency is the euro. This banknote in particular came from my wallet, and that's why it is so crinkly, but it will serve us for this video. The euro is the official currency of 20 countries in the Eurozone, and the Eurozone is not the same as the European Union, nor it is the same as Europe in general. It's just 20 countries that have agreed to use the euro as their official currency. In addition to these 20 countries, there is 6 other countries that will have to adopt the euro in the near future, and 6 other countries that are not part of the Eurozone but use the euro, 4 of them with an agreement with the Eurozone and 2 without. All the euro banknotes show some examples of European architecture from different periods, but as the Eurozone is formed by many different countries, these pictures are not meant to represent any specific architectural example. That means this bridge, for example, which is a Gothic bridge, cannot be found anywhere in Europe. It does not exist. It's just a representation, a concept of Gothic architecture. So I told you this is a 20 euro banknote, which you can also see down here, and the ink in this part is supposed to change color with light, and it actually does. It goes from dark green to black, but I don't think I can show it on camera. It also says 20 euros in the back, and here we have the letters for the European Central Bank in all the different European languages. I think as this one is from 2015, it doesn't show the letters in Croatian, but I'm not sure of that. And down here you have the name in most of the European languages, English, Italian, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, etc. In Greek and in Bulgarian. Some security features that the Euro banknotes have are transparent and semi-transparent images. Like if you look at this, here you see a blank space, and also here, but if you put it to a light, you can see a face that appears as well as a 20 and an example of this same window. You can also see a thin strip of material which is put in between the two layers of the banknote. They also have a transparent window, so you can see my hand behind it. Holographic images. And a common feature amongst most of these banknotes is that if you shine a UV light to them, you can see some kind of hidden message or drawing, whereas in this case some tiny specks of fluorescent material. These are really tiny. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like here. So this was the 20 euro banknote. Next we have some 50 Swedish crowns or Swedish Krona. And some interesting facts about this currency is that the Swedish Riksbank is the world's oldest central bank that still exists today. In this banknote in particular, you can see a picture of Ebed Tauba, who was a Swedish composer and singer. In the back, you can see a map of Sweden and the province of Bohuslän, I think it's called. It's highlighted, and the bill shows, let me try to focus it better. Picture of the Swedish coastline in this area, as well as some ancient stone carvings. The regional flower, and I think a fragment of a song or a poem by this gentleman. You can also see some music notes here and a sailing boat. Some security features include the transparent face that you cannot see here, another thin strip of material like in the euros. The ink in this boat changes color and shows the number 50. And if you look here, you can see 3 crowns, which are part of the Swedish coat of arms. And if you shine a UV light to the banknote, you can also see the 3 crowns appear here, as well as some specks of this material. In the back, we also have some specks of fluorescent material. Great. So now let's go on with some money from Hungary. The Hungarian Forint. This is 1,000 Hungarian Forint. And when I told you before that 6 countries in Europe have agreed to accept the euro in the future, Hungary is one of them. So this currency will, at some point in the near future, be replaced by the euro. In this 1,000 forint banknote, you can see an image of Matthias Kirali, or as he's known in English and in Latin, Matthias Corvinus. He was a king of Hungary, and during his reign, Hungary was the first country to import, if you can say it like that, the Renaissance movement from Italy. He was born in a city called Kolozsvár in Hungarian, which is nowadays Cluj-Napoca in Romania, in Transylvania. This banknote has some holographic strip and this ink that you can only see when you put it a certain way against the light. It has some transparent features. The strip is typical in these banknotes. And if you shine a UV light to it, you can also see some tiny specks of material. Great. So the next currency that I have are various banknotes. I've got 3 of them, and these are Romanian Leu or Romanian Leu in singular. These, of course, are from Romania, and I have 1 Leu, 5 Lei, 10 Lei, and 10 Lei, 6 Lei banknotes. These banknotes are actually called the New Leu, and they are the 4th generation of Leu, because they have replaced previous generations due to inflation. In the front you can see the words Banca Nazionale a Romania, which means Romanian National Bank. And if we begin with this 1 Leu bill, you can see in the front Nicolae Iorga, who was Minister of Romania in the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. In the back you can see some heraldic motifs and the Cathedral Church of Guatemalan. Some security features of these banknotes are that they are made of polymer substrate, so it's really difficult for you to actually go and break one of these. They have a transparent window, a strip of material interlaid, which in this case you can see, but it becomes much more noticeable when you put it against the light. And in this case they have some hidden features that show when you put a UV light. For example, this one says 1 in the back, and I cannot see anything in the front. For the 5 lei banknote, you would have Georgianescu, who was a Romanian composer, and of course you have some music notes. And in the back you have Ateneul Roman, which I think is a place for arts in Romania. If you have the same security features, and if you shine a light, you can see a 5 that appears. And finally, the 10 lei banknote. You have Nicolae Grigolescu, who was a modern painter. You can see the painter's palette here with a brush. And in the back you have a picture of a traditional home in the town of Oltenia. If you shine a light, you can see that the number 10 appears in the back. Next, I have some money from Bulgaria, Bulgarian Levs. I only have this one, which is a 5 Lev banknote, and it showcases a picture of Ivan Milev, who was a modernist painter from Bulgaria. And in the back you can see some painting. Some security features are the holographic strip, the number 5, the now typical thin strip of material interlaid, and the transparent face. As you can see, most of these security features are shared between these banknotes. The UV light only shows some specks of this material, nothing too crazy. You can actually see the number 5 here with the UV light. Next I have some money from the Republic of Moldova. Republika Moldova. These are really small bills, just let's compare it with the 20 euro bill. These are quite small. And I have 1 leu, 1 leu, 20 lei, 20 lei, and 30 lei, 50 lei. They all have in the front a picture of Stepan cel Mare, Stephen the Great, who was king of Moldavia, to be precise, which was a nation in medieval Europe, and is considered by Moldovans and Romanians as a whole as a national hero. In the back of each one of these banknotes you have a small picture of some place in Moldova. For example, this one is Mănăstirea Capliana, or a monastery. This one is Cetatea Soroca, or the citadel of Soroca. And here you have the Mănăstirea Hilpovat, I think, another monastery. Security features include the thin strip, some transparent image of the face of Stefan cel Mare, and some UV light reflective material here, but not in the back. This one has some specks of material in the coat of arms and across the bill. And this one here has also this image, and also not in the back. No, we have some tiny specks in the back as well. Okay, so we have just seen Moldovan currency, and I have some currency from a place which cannot officially be called a country, as it is not recognized by most of the countries in the world. And I'm talking about Transnistria, which is an unrecognized republic that currently occupies an eastern portion of Moldova in the border with Ukraine. So the currency that they use in this region is called the Transnistrian Ruble, and it's of course only accepted in that area. Have 1 ruble, 5, 10, 25, which is an interesting number. for a banknote and 50. These 4 banknotes all include a picture of Suvorov, who was a Russian general from the 18th century, who many people compare to Napoleon, as he was one of the greatest Russian generals in Russian history. An interesting thing about these banknotes is that these 4 denominations all have the same size, and in the back of these banknotes you can see first the Kichkan monument, the the Quint brandy factory. This is actually a photograph, I think, because there are some cars. It's not a picture, not a drawing, I mean. We also have the Novoyametsky monastery, and the Bender castle. Bender is the second largest city in this self-proclaimed republic, the largest city and capital being Tiraspol. And on the 50 ruble banknote, we have a picture of, I don't have it here, the information about who this person is. I think is Taras Shevchenko, who was a Ukrainian artist from the 19th century. I had all my info in these papers, and sometimes I cannot read my own handwriting. And in the back you can see the Tiraspol presidential palace in Tiraspol, the capital. This is a really interesting place to see if you are curious about Eastern Europe. I actually went there 7 years ago, more or less, and it was a cultural shock, let's call it like that. Some security features that these banknotes have are a holographic strip, which if you shine a light through, you can see the symbol for the ruble, some transparent lettering and the face, but no UV light reflective material that I can see. Okay, and the last currency that I have from Europe are the Ukrainian Hrivna banknotes, from which I have the 1 Hrivna, 2, 5, 10, and 50. In order, they show Volodymyr the Great, who was a ruler of the key verse in the 10th century. In the back, his fortress wall in Kiev. The Kievan Rus was the predecessor to the Ukrainian state. In the 2 Hrivna banknote, you can see Yaroslav the Wise, who was also ruler of the Kievan Rus, but in the 11th century. And you can see Saint Sophia's Cathedral in Kiev. On the 5 Hrivna banknote, you can see Bogdan Khmelnytsky, who was Hetman of Ukraine. Hetman is another way of calling a ruler. And a church in Subotiv, I think, along with some swords and medieval stuff. On the 10 Hrivna banknote, you can see Ivan Mazepa, who was also hetman of Ukraine, and the Holy Dormition Cathedral, as well as this instrument, which I don't remember the name in English. Finally, on the 50 Hrivna banknote, you can see Mikhailo Hrushevsky, who was a historian and politician. And in the back you can see the building of the Centrala Rada, the House of the Teacher in Kiev. Security features that they have are the usual strip, transparent face, this is shared in all of them. And if you shine a UV light, the strip just shines in a fluorescent blue color. But there is not much going on with UV lights in these banknotes. Okay, so we have finished with the European banknotes. Now let's see some from the Middle East and Asia, and I only have 2 currencies. One, if these 20 Israel New Shekels, which is the official currency in, of course, Israel and also the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. In the front of this banknote, you can see poet Rachel Bluestein Sena, and at the back you can see a concept of the shoreline in the Sea of Galilee, and also some words from a poem. You can see that these banknotes are written in Hebrew as well as in Arabic. And they have a number of security measures, features. They have transparent face, this strip that only partially shows, some holographic ink and color shifted ink. And if you shine a UV light, you should be able to see number 20. There it is, hidden in the back of the banknote. Now I will show you some banknotes from China, the People's Republic of China. And I got this one, I visited in 2018. But I think since then they have upgraded the security features, and some of them, these smaller ones, I think they're no longer in use. So the Chinese Yuan is the currency of the People's Republic of China, and they have a fractional unit called the jiao, and you have the 1 jiao and 5 jiao, and this is equivalent to 0.1 yuan and 0.5 half yuan. And this currency is officially called the renminbi of the people's currency. So in the smaller bills, banknotes, you can see Gaoshan and Manchu men are supposed to represent some ethnic groups of China. And here you can see the state seal of China and the names of the currency written in the different languages that they use. This one is from 1980, I believe. This 5 jiao banknote, you have a Miao and Shekel, also two different ethnic groups. You can see the back. I actually really like these banknotes, they are so detailed. And the more commonly used banknotes are the Yuan banknotes. These two include the face of Chairman Mao Zedong in the front, and the 1 yuan banknote shows a place called the 3 pools mirroring the moon, and the 5 yuan banknote shows Mount Tai or Taishan, which is one of the 5 great mountains of the province of Shandong. The smaller bills do not actually include any important security measures. But the larger ones have a transparent picture here and here, as well as the strip of material and some UV reflective material in the front, but not in the back. Good. So I have 4 more banknotes that I want to show you, and I'm sure that most of you know this one. This is a $1 banknote from the United States of America, $1 US, and I think this is one of the most commonly known banknotes in the world. This one is from 2021 and it says Federal Reserve Note. An interesting fact is that if you have one note that says silver certificate instead of Federal Reserve Note, those are usually worth more than $1. In the front you obviously have a picture of George Washington, who was the first president of the United States after its independence. And in the back you can see the Great Seal of the United States. In the right you have an eagle with a branch and some arrows meant to symbolize peace and war or strength, and 13 stars for the original 13 colonies that became independent as the United States. You can see the motto Swedismo, E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one, meaning to symbolize the union of these states as a single country. In the left you can see the motto Annuit Cryptis, which I found that translates to he oversees our undertakings, meant to symbolize that the creator is looking from above to what the people are building and developing on earth in this new country. You can also see a pyramid which has 13 rows of stone, meant to again symbolize the 13 original states. And you can see Novus Ordo Seclorum, which translates to the new order of the ages, meant to symbolize a new beginning. Some security features that this note have are that this green ink is supposed to change color with UV light, but I don't really see it. I suppose that on larger denominations they include more security features, as they were usually more expensive. Okay, So, going on with the currencies of America, we also have this 20 Mexican peso banknote, 20 pesos, Banco de Mexico, and this banknote is also made of a polymer substrate similar to the Romanian ones, so it's more difficult to break. Some interesting info about the Mexican peso is that it was the world's first currency to use the dollar symbol, the dollar, as an independent currency. Here in the front you can see a picture of Benito Juarez, who was a politician in Mexico and is regarded as one of the founders of the Mexican nation. And in the back you can see a picture of Cocijo, it says, and it's really small in here, but you can see a famous sentence a famous quote by Juárez that says que el pueblo y el gobierno respeten los derechos de todos, entre los individuos como entre las naciones. El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. You can look for the translation. Some security features include the transparent face, transparent windows, and if you shine a UV light, I don't actually see anything relevant, but of course you have the transparent windows that say 20 on them, so that's enough security, I guess. So the last currency from the American continent that I have are these Guatemalan 5 Quetzal, 5 Quetzales. The Quetzal currency gets its name from the Quetzal bird of Central America. And here you can see a simplified version of the Guatemalan flag, Banco de Guatemala, and a picture of General Justo Rufino Barrios, Presidente de la República, President of the Republic, from 1873 to 1885. Reformador del país e impulsor de la Unión Centroamericana. It says reformer of the country and developer or impulsor of the Central American Union, which was a country that existed in Central America, and then it was dissolved and divided between Guatemala, I think Honduras, El Salvador, and these countries. And here in the back you can see a picture of a classroom. You can also see the Quetzal up here, some letters, numbers, and a teacher. And you can see el General Justo Rufino Barrios estableció la enseñanza primaria gratuita, laica y obligatoria. Says that this general established private education as a free education, non-religious and compulsory. You can see some tiny specks you shine a UV light, and in the back you can see that the number 5 appears on top of the picture. I also really like this banknote. I got this as a gift. So the last banknote that I want to show you is actually inside a plastic sleeve. So it's more of a collector item than a circulating banknote. And it has a really interesting number or denomination, which is $10 trillion from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And here you can see the number. I promise that this is not a fake banknote or a joke. You can see that it's 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 zeros. 10 trillion. And this was the legal currency of Zimbabwe in Africa before it was discontinued in 2009 due to hyperinflation. I think they currently use the US dollar as a currency. In the front you can see the balancing rocks of Chinemba, which I would really like to see in person because they look gigantic. And in the back you see the headquarters of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe and the ruins of Great Zimbabwe, which was a castle, I think. And these triangles are meant to symbolize some stylized grains of cereal. If you shine the UV light, as usual, you get some tiny specks here and there. I don't think you can actually see them with the plastic, but not much for security features going on with this one. So these have been all the banknotes that I wanted to show you today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, dropping a comment down below, would really help me. And just also let me know if you would like to see a similar video to this one, but with coins, as I also have a fairly large collection from this and other countries. So I hope you could enjoy the video, you learned something, you relaxed, or even you got to sleep. And let's see each other in the next video.